Hello everyone and welcome back to Gundam of Gundams. I'm Josh,
This is Amy.
and today we got episode 9 of Gquuuuuux.
Episode 9. 3 more left after this.
Yep, only 3 more left. I am curious how they're going to end it. I'm kind of nervous, honestly.
Yeah, it's not like this episode didn't build up a lot of lore and stuff, and maybe semi-answered some of our questions, but at the same time, it's like we got a lot to still cover.
Yeah, we still have a lot that has been set up.
Yeah, exactly, so this definitely is a setup episode because...
Yes, and we do kind of go back and forth between flashback and present a little bit, so I hope you'll kind of stick with us here.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so we're going to start off. Machu's free falling.
Are you gonna sing the song?
'Cause I'm free,
Free falling.
free falling.
Yeah, so she's just plummeting to Earth, basically. And Haru's like, put your spacesuit on. It's like, what spacesuit?
Yeah, she doesn't have a spacesuit. Like, come on.
And then, kind of creepy, but as she's falling, like, the Gquuuuuux, like, the controls, like, they look like actual, like, arms, and they, like, wrap around her.
Yeah,
I was like,
kind of weird.
I don't know if I'd want that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it gives her a hug, and basically they fall down to Earth, and just as they're about to basically, I think it's hit the water.
Yeah, just like crash land in the
Yeah.
water. The core fighter pops out of the Gquuuuuux. Now, you didn't know that had a core fighter.
No, I haven't watched any of the reviews on the model kits or anything yet. I've only seen how like flexible and stuff like it actually is, and then I haven't gotten the model kit. Red Gundam is on back order. Thanks, Hobby Link. Just saying. But yeah, so I didn't know I had an actual core fighter, so that was kind of cool to see that it has a core fighter pop out.
Yeah, the Zeon kept the core fighter concept, unlike the Earth Federation, oddly enough.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Does the Red Gundam have like the core unit thing? I don't know if we've ever seen it, have we?
Yeah, the Red Gundam still has the core fighter.
Okay, so it still has the core fighter in like its stomach area.
Yeah.
Okay. Never got a G-Bull though. That's not what Zeon was thinking about when they were developing things.
Good.
But yeah, then she wakes up at a mansion or an estate, I think they call it later.
Yeah, was it Kaba's estate?
Mm-hmm. We looked up the name. We didn't see anything related to Gundam in that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but basically, just two of the maids kind of help her kind of get up. She's got some injuries. They say no broken bones, but she is bandaged up a little bit.
Yeah, it's her shoulder.
Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah, and, you know, she's kind of looking at her surroundings, you know, like it's real gravity, real sky.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of what she was looking for, honestly, except, you know, there's not a sea there, there's just mountains.
Kind of ironic that she says it's a lot like how the colony feels with like the gravity and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, she opens up the window because she's like, I need to see the ocean, but it's this mountainous region, so I guess not as good as what she wanted, but still, she's on Earth. She's excited to feel like the actual air and then the actual like sun on her face.
Yep. And then we get our first flashback. So, get a flashback to her cell. She gets her phone, Haro, and her pilot suit back.
Mm-hmm. And then I think it's Kamali, the the woman who's on the bridge of the Soden. She isn't. I don't know. She hasn't really done much on the bridge itself, but she goes in and talks to Machu. She gives her stuff, and then she actually gives her clothes too. So it's kind of funny. But
Yeah. I don't know why Machu would need more clothes.
maybe just to get her into something clean,
Maybe. I mean,
more comfortable than a spacesuit.
Yeah, I guess. But Machu is going through her phone and she sees a ton of missed messages, especially from her mom.
Yeah, even like missed calls, so she's actually trying to pair it now.
Yeah, now she is.
I mean, I can't even imagine because we were looking back at like the dates on there. I think at least started like 3 days ago. So we know
Yeah.
that she's been on the Soden for at least around like 2 or 3 days.
Yeah, at least a couple of days.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hey, poor Haro, he's in a bag.
Yep, he's in a bag. But Machi gets changed and gets taken to Chalia. And then the flashback ends.
Yeah, and then we're back at the actual estate again.
Yep.
And so Machu just kind of asks the maids like how they found her and stuff, and then they say that basically the mistress had a dream that she was coming.
Yeah.
So, of course, we'll figure out who the mistress is in just a little bit, but
Yep. Machu asks if she could thank the mistress.
mhm.
The maids are like, she has a lover coming.
Yeah, it's a lover.
Yeah,
With
a lover
quotations.
in quotes. This is gonna get kind of uncomfortable.
Yeah, so we'll see later as Machu goes down the halls that you'll figure out what lover means.
Yeah.
Pretty simple.
Yeah, it's very uncomfortable.
She actually asks the maids too because she kind of like gets it
Yeah.
before she even gets out of the room. She's like, "Are you being held against your will?" But basically the maids say not really, because like if you go into the town, like the town's surrounded like by poverty and stuff. So this is at least
Yeah.
their way to get clothes and then food and stuff.
Yes. Now, when they mention that the mistress has a lover coming, we see some black limos and we see someone who looks to be a Xeon officer.
Yeah, we were trying to see if we could catch him. Like the backside of his head is prominent when
Yeah.
he gets out, but when he like actually comes out, you see his face from afar, so you don't really
Yeah,
get
it's
much
like
detail
very
in
little
it.
detail.
We were, yeah, we were just trying to see if that was like a cameo or something.
Yeah, it's probably a nobody, but this does beg the question: how much influence does Xeon have on Earth?
Yeah, I mean, especially like how much are the Earth forces? How much do they get wrecked in that whole military, that in the whole war, man? It's because they're pretty much completely driven out of space at this point. Maybe some influence on Side 6 because we had the Titans show up and everything.
Yeah.
But the rest of the colonies most likely are sided with Xeon. So they really have no influence there. So how are they even stable on Earth? Especially, we'll see this Xeon officer. Later on in the episode, we'll see some more Xeon stuff. So
Yeah.
it's like, dang, I thought, like still Odessa or something would have happened that would have driven Xeon kind of off of the Earth.
Yeah.
So there's definitely more than I thought would be present on Earth, to be honest.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I think Kakarot 197 did a Gquuuuuux lore video way back, and I think he said something about Operation Odessa, and I'm pretty sure he said it succeeded, but that was kind of before all this new information.
Yeah.
So I wonder if that's still valid or not.
I mean, I would think that would come from like the booklet or something like
Yeah.
they gave out in the movie theater. So I'm assuming it is, but
Yeah.
I mean, maybe after the war, maybe after
And maybe
Xeon,
they just got it back.
yeah, they could have sent more forces to Earth. We don't know, like we said, we don't know how much more forces they actually have on Earth. Are they mostly concentrated in like the Jabrow area, which we'll find out later is far away from where this is.
Yeah.
I don't know. Did they ever win back California and stuff? we don't know about that because that's well, depending on, New York or whatever, but that's basically California base was taken over by like Garma and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't know what the situation of that is. Or if, like you said, Odessa Day just happened and like they were driven mostly out of Europe. So we don't know. We have no idea.
Who knows?
Then I don't think the guy who is actually the head of the estate also gets a name or anything either.
I don't think he does either.
Just random. Later we figure out very pervy dude.
Yeah. Gross.
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 And is that where we go back to the other flashback?
Yep.
Okay.
The next flashback happens. Chalia is questioning Machu, and it's funny because he brings up that Machu should be grateful for being born in Side 6.
Well, I mean, like,
Yeah.
she has a flashback to in the end because he talks about, like, so many people are refugees now just because of the war.
Yeah.
Half the population is dead. So, yeah, you should be grateful that you were born into a pretty stable situation.
Yeah, plus, like a couple seconds before in the episode, like right before the flashback, the maids were talking to her about how there's just poverty in the town.
Mm-hmm.
See people just begging for food and money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely
So
Machu.
this is probably her kind of like wake up, kind of maturing episode.
Yeah, it's definitely a wake-up call. You'll see it more as the episode goes on.
Yeah, like the grass isn't always greener kind of deal.
Yeah, exactly. But Shalia, he's like Jedi Shalia or something.
Oh yeah.
So basically, like he's asking her about like the Red Gundam, And then he brings up even Suji's name, and he's like, "Wait, what? Like, how do you know his name?" So it's like he's almost like reading her mind or something. Like, and she notices it too.
Yeah. She even mentions that he is like Shuji.
And I'm assuming that's probably like just new type ability-wise. But yeah, so he's like Jedi, mind reading her essentially, I guess.
Yeah, like even before she gets to say anything, she's thinking it, and he's pretty much just like reading her mind.
Yeah. She's got her Machu face on the whole time too. It's kind of funny.
Yeah. Chalia mentions that the Sodon is headed to Earth to protect a military facility.
Which, once again, it's like,
Yeah.
how much Xeon stuff is actually on Earth?
And then we kind of get a whole conversation based on the Rose of Sharon.
Yeah, because I guess he reads in Machu's mind that that's what Shuji was looking for.
Yeah, that's what Shuji was looking for. And we get like this whole kind of lore dump about what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently it appeared in space randomly. It can shape the destiny of the Earth sphere. It's an anomaly that shouldn't exist in this world.
And it looks like just like a Zek Nova almost.
It's just a big Zek Nova ball.
Sparkly ball.
A sparkly green ball.
And then we know that they took it to Granada to basically run tests on it.
Yes. And Machu kind of lets it slip that they were going down to Earth. And and Shalia just like gets in her face.
Oh my god,
like,
man.
Oh, so you're going to Earth. It's on Earth, huh?
That creepy face, man.
It was really intense.
Oh yeah, but yeah, he has that creepy face. Well, I mean, it's not like creeper, but you know, we weren't expecting Shalia to like get up in her face.
Yeah, it was just really intense. That's what it was. Anyways, they put Machu back in her cell, and then she gets contacted by that mysterious texter again.
Yep, and
Yeah.
it just basically says that the rose is going to bloom soon.
Yep, the rose will bloom soon. And then she gets another message. The lock will open on the right.
Yeah, and then as we see kind of later on, because it looks like Shalia is like monitoring like her phone texts that are going in.
Yeah.
But it's like just directions of like how to actually probably get back to the Gquuuuuux, because that's where she's heading.
Yeah.
So that was, it's like we still don't know who this mysterious person who is texting her is. Is it Lala, I guess? You know? We don't know. Is it another new type? Because Shalia does mention like it's a new type from the other side.
Yes.
But it could be Lala, it could be Char for all we know, it could be Amuro, who knows?
I have no clue. But using those texts, she gets to the Gquuuuuux and is going to escape.
And then Shalia just basically lets it happen just
Yeah.
because he's like,
It's like, hold on, something good might come out of this.
like he's seeing the text messages, so he's
Yeah.
like, we don't know who this mysterious
Like-
person is, so just let it roll.
Yeah, and I find it funny how he's like, and this mysterious new type is such a handful.
The last one of those texts, though, is, again, it says, let's go to the beginning.
Yes.
So, what is the beginning?
See, now that's the question.
Haha.
Yes.
And I think that even gets more mysterious as the episode does go on.
Alright, so that is the end of that
The first,
flashback.
yeah.
Like, we're pretty much caught up now. Now, Machu kind of goes out on her balcony and she sees the mistress sitting out, you know, on like the hill,
swing thing, yeah.
like the swing on the hill, and she goes out to meet her.
Going through the building, and
Yeah,
she
going
gets
through the building,
to
sees a few things. We don't need to go into that.
go see the girls and all the guards with the dogs and stuff. It's
Yeah.
pretty tight security, we'll say that.
Now, if you are new to Gundam, you're not going to know who this is. And there's probably a few of you in like the comments or just watching this video. But this is a legacy character called Lala Soon.
I was not,
And Amy has very particular feelings
Yeah.
about Lala Soon.
we'll get to that.
Many of which are not positive.
Nope. But it is funny too, because she walks up to her, she starts kind of talking, and just random fact, guys, she talks about the birds migrating through the Himalayas, and just something we found in research is that those did include swans. So if you
Swans?
if you ever watched the OG Gundam series, you'll know that the swans pop up a lot when Lala's brought up, or, you know, she's watching the swan
Yeah.
when Amuro first meets her. So,
Swans are brought up a lot in connection to Lala.
yeah. So, that was just kind of a fun fact we pulled out. But yeah, she goes over to her. And Machu's like, I think I know this person.
Which is
And-
weird.
Yeah.
I mean, it could just be like new type.
Yeah,
kinda
yeah.
deal, because, you know, like, you're psychic, it feels like you know someone even though you've met them for the first time. That's how Amuro kind of described it.
But at the same time, we get kind of this picture of like the Kira, and
Yeah.
you have Lala in there for sure.
Yes.
It looks like it's OG Lala too, because she's definitely wearing that dress.
Yeah, the yellow
Mhm.
dress is very flowy.
So it's like the 0079 Lala for sure.
Yes, and the dialogue from Lala is very interesting. So she says that she has dreams about the other side, and this is probably what's going to make up most of this review.
Yeah, so she talks about how the Xeon officer
Yep.
Most likely, we're gonna probably think this is Char, just
Yep.
based on the 0079 lore and everything. But
Yeah. Plus, she mentions it's a young Xeon officer in red.
yeah, so
There's only 2 of those that we know of, and
it was Johnny Raiden.
it was Johnny Raiden.
But most likely, it's a reference to the original Gundam lore with Char. So we know that sometime when he was grounded on Earth after probably Garma's death, he found Lala in a brothel, or I guess the estate here is what they want to call it. I don't know if that's going to get us in trouble. But essentially, she says that he fell in love with her basically at first sight and then bought her freedom.
Yeah, Char sets her free, and Lala kind of sets her heart on fighting for him.
Mm-hmm. She says that being in space is gonna give her the freedom she wants. Versus, of course,
Yes.
Machu, who wants to go to Earth. So it's like that, opposite.
Yeah, it's the very opposite feeling. Now, she kind of gives a synopsis of what happens in the original timeline, where she goes up to space and she ends up, like fighting and dying. And then later on, Char dies against the white mobile suit, which does happen, but not in the time frame in which this series kind of frames it out to be.
Yeah, and I'll probably bring it up later, but it almost sounds like this is reoccurring.
Yes.
So I think my biggest question out of this is are we just talking about the 0079 timeline? Because in that timeline, we know, I don't know, did we call this a spoiler alert? But we know Lala basically sacrifices herself for Char.
Yes.
So that the Gundam doesn't kill him. But like you said, later on, of course, Char and Amuro are going to meet up again, and eventually Char is going to die.
Yeah.
So we don't... I don't know if this is referencing, maybe an altered history where she doesn't save Char when Amuro targets the Gelgoog in the original timeline, I guess.
Yeah.
So we don't know, but it just sounds kind of like it just keeps on repeating itself. Is this multiverses? We have no idea.
Yep. I'll bring this up in a detail that comes up later.
Mm-hmm.
But for now, like Machu asks, is he the enemy? I'm assuming the White Gundam.
Yeah.
And she says, no, the pilot of the White Gundam is pure. And it's funny because that's something that she also refers to Char as in Char's counterattack.
Yeah, and so Amuro kind of questions what she means by pure. So I'm just assuming, I don't think we even get an interpretation of it here. So pure in a new type sense, pure in, I don't know.
Like personality
Personality.
Probably personality. Yeah. And your favorite detail, Amy, she says that she fell in love with both of them.
I have so many things. I think I've talked about it a little bit with Lala, but honestly, it's like I think I'm on the verge of hate for her because she basically drives Char and Amuro to kill each other. So it's kind of funny because at the end of the OG series, Amuro basically tells Lala straight up he has a place to go to still.
Yeah.
So he just kind of rejects her. But then we see later on, Zeta, they're fine. They get along with each other. They're trying to help each other. So when Lala is not interfering, the world is technically a better place, I think, because Char and Amuro are actually trying to make the world a better place. But then we go to Char's counterattack, and that's when she's the one who's giving them, nightmares and stuff. And it's she's just driving them to, kill each other. And it's this selfish thing where it's you love both of them. So it's you drag them down both to hell with you. In this, I don't know, in the Kira or whatever. But man, she kills both of them essentially to make sure that she can be with both of them for all of time. And it's just Or you gotta be kidding me.
Yes. And before people say in the comments that Char never had dreams of Lala and Char's counterattack, you see, Char's counterattack, the movie, kind of cuts out like the first portion of the story. So there are games and manga that kind of show what happens like before the drop of Fifth Luna.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, Char does have dreams / recollections of Wawa.
And it's just like, these two could move on. I mean, Char has tried to move on, of course, with other people, but unfortunately that ends up...
It just ends up terribly no matter what.
So, I don't blame Lala for that, but at the same time, Amuro is trying to get with, someone. Like, he has Bella Torchka and Zeta.
Yep.
And, of course, in the manga, it's still her in the Char's counterattack era, but it turns to Chan in the other one. But, it's like, especially in the Bella Torchka manga, because you know that they have more stable relationships with the people they're with.
Yes.
And it's just like, oh my god, man, she is just like this psychopath who thinks that, she can control both of their lives and like drag them into death with her. And honestly, it's like sad because even in Unicorn you see it where their souls are basically tied to her. But it's like, oh my god, like I don't feel sorry for you. I'm sorry, but like even in this iteration with Lala, and she still hasn't been saved by Char, it's like, I don't feel sorry for you. You literally are like dragging these people down. No, like if you meet them. And honestly, like I told you, I think that Char and Gquuuuuux is like the best fight he could have gotten, but at the same time, if the Zek Nova is driven by like Lala or something from like the other side, if she's the one who started all this, and then God knows what happened to Char in this timeline, you know what? She screwed with his life again. But at the same time, like he had the best thing going for him here. He had a bro, man. He had Shalia, and he didn't have to deal with her bullshit. But like, oh my god, it's like, ugh. It's like literally, man. I feel like Lala is like the freaking like the witch of like the freaking whole Universal Century. She's gonna like derive like this whole like she's like the main enemy. I know like you were talking about like the zombies are like the ultimate evil now, and that's very true. But it's like Lala is like if I think this is what's happening with the Zek Nova and stuff, if she is driving this whole thing to happen, like I would consider her like the main bad guy at the end, because my god, it's like you couldn't keep your clutches off of just people in 0079. You had to go to, I guess, alternate universes or something and screw with Char and Amuro's lives, even though we haven't seen Amuro yet, which I'm very surprised.
Yes, I'm almost considering maybe it might be in response to the voice actor.
It could be, yeah, because the voice actor had the giant scandal.
Yes.
But at the same time, I don't know if we've had a recasting of him either.
I
Like
don't
Char
think
has.
so. Well, Char's recasting is very different.
Well, yeah, because his voice actor retired, and
Yeah.
God bless him, I love his voice actor, but
Just very smooth.
yeah, he's smooth like, I don't know, nice bourbon or something, I don't know. Or wine, I guess, in Shalia's case,
Yeah.
but yeah, so yeah, Amuro's voice actor had that big scandal, but I would have thought, like, if he was gonna be in Gquuuuuux, like, they would just recast him, and maybe that's something they're saving for later.
Maybe. Who knows?
But it is kind of surprising that Lala being the center, if she's the center of all this, we've seen Char, we haven't seen Amuro, and he is, like, the next biggest part of, like, the actual Universal Century, so...
Yeah. Like, Universal Century is pretty much Char and Amuro's story, pretty much. Like, aside from, like, side stories and stuff.
Or after they die.
Yeah, or after they die, it's practically their story.
But yeah, that's... I just have to get the Lala rant out. Sorry, guys. But she is probably the most, like, despicable character, because of how basically she wants to, like, have these two people kill each other when they could be good friends. They could, work well
Yeah,
together.
they could be bros.
Yeah, they can make the world a better place.
Yeah.
But
We see glimpses of it in Zeta.
yeah, but then Lala has to screw it up because you know what? She can't handle not having the both of them, and it's just like, ugh. Sorry. I guess that's my rant.
All right. I did neglect to mention that when she's talking about the dreams that she's having, you can see the Kira Kira in her eyes.
Yeah.
And then it like transitions to kind of, like them kind of floating in like the Kira Kira space.
It was kind of interesting too. I just kind of thought about it, but like Lala's Kira Kira seems to be like greenish, and one of the times that Shuji had it, like right when
Yeah, it was kind of green.
Yeah, when Shiko died, I think it was like green too.
Yes.
So I wonder if that was her Kira Kira. And then when we switch over to Machu and then Lala together, it's like a blue, like
yeah, it's the blue,
yeah.
kind of like when Amuro and Lala talk to each other in the original series.
Yeah, and then of course Machu's has been blue too, because it's like very like ocean looking like.
Yeah. I wonder if green is being reserved for, parallel Lala.
Maybe. The OG Lala.
Yeah. That kind of resonance gets interrupted. They have to go back to the mansion. You have the guards and their guard dogs and
Yeah, and then
for things.
it's at the end of this conversation, like I said, that she mentions that she meets Char, I guess, over and over and over again, like it's a repeating cycle.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my question of whether it's like, is it just the OG 0079 timeline, or is it like these alternate timelines where she's seeing like Char save her? Like, is this the only timeline where it deviates where he didn't actually save Lala?
Who knows?
Multiverse.
But again, there's a detail later in which we'll talk
Yeah,
about
exactly.
this again. All right. They both get interrupted, go back to the mansion. The owner is talking about how he's going to give Machu back to Zeon, and he's kind of in coordination with the police. So I'm thinking maybe there is a Zeon base around there.
Yeah, we do get confirmation, and I'm probably going to say this name wrong. Sorry, guys. Mangaluru, India. So we know it's a city in India for sure.
Yes.
Which would be same with the 0079 lore that Lala was in India when Char found her.
Yes. All right. Then the maids kind of have a plan to escape. The plan is actually from Lala, but the maids want to change the plan so that Machu is able to take Lala with her, because the maids actually really like Lala.
Yeah.
And
somebody's gotta like her, I guess.
yeah, and they want her to leave this place behind. And the plan is to just burn it all down.
Yeah. And you could tell with like that one maid, man, she was dissatisfied that whole time. And like the first maid who's kind of like the more carefree one, she's like,
oh, I thought we were just doing a small fire.
Yeah.
It's like, no, we need to burn it down.
It's like, oh man, you knew she was going to that.
Yeah, I'm surprised that she didn't like slit the owner's throat or something.
Yeah. Oh
probably gonna have to censor that.
She was just ready for it all to end though, man. It was just like, yeah, so like the whole estate's on fire. Basically all the guards, and then like the guy, like the owner himself is like scrambling to make sure, I guess, the girls don't get away or anything. And yeah, so
yeah. Lala takes Machu to the Gquuuuuux core fighter, and Machu tries to take Lala with her, but she refuses. Because she's waiting for Char. She's still waiting for Char. She has dreams about Char taking her. And then the owner arrives, and Lala kind of stands in between them. and just kind of gets left behind
Yep.
when the owner kind of fires at them, and the Gquuuuuux just kind of automatically,
Just get out of here.
yeah, like the Gquuuuuux just automatically flies away without any input from Machu. And this kind of comes to something that I'm thinking, like continuing to think, and it's that Haro is actually in control.
He might be. It does say it's on autopilot too, I think, when the Gquuuuuux core fighter starts flying away.
Yes, it does.
And a little Haro, man, he's full of a lot of secrets because like even like as they're crashing into the ocean, he's like, well, actually that's later on, huh?
Actually,
yeah, that's the next scene.
That is the next scene, but to kind of set the scene, they're flying over the ocean. Machu's asking, wait, the Gquuuuuux is in the ocean. How can we go get it? And Haro's like, oh, this is an all-purpose aircraft. It can go land, space, and sea. How do you know that?
Yeah, it's like, where did this Haro come from? Like, and this is from the Pomeranians? Like, I don't even know, man.
This is really weird. How would you know that? And then, again, the Gquuuuuux just goes down into the ocean without any input from Machu. So I'm assuming it's either Haro or, like, I don't know, is there like an AI on the Gquuuuuux?
Could be. But yeah, so they find the actual Gquuuuuux, the body, at the bottom, not the bottom of the ocean, but pretty damn far down.
Yeah, pretty far down.
Yeah.
They're at least 100 meters down.
Yeah,
at the
that's
very
what.
least.
Yeah, I think that's what Haro says.
Yeah.
And so yeah, they find it. There's spotlight on the core fighter, and they find it, and it's in front of like this giant
shadow.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh my gosh, is this the Rose? And Machu kind of senses someone in there, and she thinks it's Lala, and she's so confused. Then, she kind of gets back into mobile suit form, and the Gquuuuuux just kind of floats itself back up.
Yep, it has like these
like the balloons.
Yeah, balloons on it to bring it back up.
Which is a really good feature. I'm kind of surprised they thought of that.
No Gundam condom though for when it went into the atmosphere.
Didn't need it.
Nope, just use the shield. Didn't even need the vent things, but yeah.
Yep. Now, she's at the surface, and then she sees the Sodon followed her.
So yeah, we were thinking like there's like a tracker or something in the actual Gquuuuuux or something.
Yeah, probably a tracker, or who knows, maybe even just in her phone.
Yeah, that too. Or Shally is just that much of a Chad and can sense her. I don't know.
Giga Chad.
Giga Chad.
Yep. The next scene, we see some familiar machines. We see Gogs.
And like a Mad Angler, which is a class of actual Xeon ship, so.
Yeah, it's a class of submarine.
So yeah, it was cool to see the Mad Angler, and then of course, like you said, the Gogs too.
Especially the Gogs, because that means that Xeon still did their like maybe 20 billion aquatic suits.
Yeah, exactly. Now we just have to wonder where the oh my god, what? Oh my god, why am I like
the Zoc?
Yeah, well, yeah, we can look for the Zoc, but God, what is Rumbarall pilot? I'm sorry, I'm having
Goof?
Yeah, the Goofs. So do we have any Goofs here? I need to know what happened to Rumbarall. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, what happened to Rumbarall?
But yeah, so we went from Zaku's, we know for sure. Then we know we have Doms and stuff.
Yeah, we have Doms.
So is there a Goof?
We have Gelgooks.
Yeah, technically speaking, there are Gelgooks.
So do we have Zagox, Akguys,
the Zoc?
the Zoc?
Who knows? Who knows what we have? You think that was Boom ship?
Who knows? I mean, it is a green Mad Angler.
Yeah, we could have Mulligan on there too. We don't know.
Yeah.
Since that was Char's kind of ship too, he took over it, and Mulligan was like his right-hand man, I guess. I don't know. Anyways, that was cool.
Yep. Now, of course, the Sodon arrives. Machu's put back in the brig.
Yep.
And they are kind of raising up the Rose. And
Guess what?
guess what, guys? So we were kind of correct still.
We were halfway correct.
Yeah, we were halfway correct. So the Rosa Sharon is actually just the Elmeth.
With Lala inside.
Yes, with Lala inside. So we are half correct in saying that it was Lala. Now, one thing I did notice when they raised up the Elmeth, it's like shiny. Like
Yeah.
it's like it has like this weird glowing effect.
Yeah, Comley says it too. She said it looks distorted or something.
Yes. And Shalia mentions that it's unstable.
Yeah, it's like an unstable state in this universe, which he brings up.
Yes. And he goes into saying how the Elmeth in this timeline was kind of discontinued. Like they stopped developing it because they put that technology in the Red Gundam.
Yeah, so anything like the Elmeth was basically stopped. So no Zeong, no anything like that. And
Yes.
that's how we got the technology with the Gundam incorporated, so even like the Gelgoogs and stuff.
Yeah, so the Elmeth literally should not exist in this universe.
And yet it's there.
And yet it's there. Now, a couple notes about Lala. Chalia says that the pilot is in eternal sleep, a new type from the other side, and something that I noticed that kind of goes into your multiverse theory. There is no hole from the beam saber for when Amuro kills her.
Yeah. Oh, and another thing too is that her body is like attached to like these red thorn looking things.
Yeah, it's like these like red vines that kind of have like these thorns that are just a bunch of them inside of the cockpit.
And it's not on the outside of the Elmeth at all. It's all on the inside.
Yeah, it's all on the inside.
But yeah, there's no beam saber hole where Amuro hits her in the 0079 series, but I think that was close to the cockpit, wasn't it?
It was the cockpit.
It was like straight onto the cockpit.
Yeah,
so
it was
like,
the cockpit.
Like you literally see her like pull back whenever
Yeah.
when Amuro sticks her with that beam saber. But yeah, it's pristine. It's just there.
Yeah, it's very strange.
So multiverse.
Yes.
So is this a universe where Amuro doesn't kill Lala? I don't know. That would make it different from OG 0079.
It would make it different.
And that may be the universe that she's referring to when she says that Char dies, because we don't know if she's referring to he dies at that moment when she was supposed to save him, or he dies later on because Char's counterattack, he still dies to a white mobile suit, so we don't know.
It's very up in the air. But that is where the episode ends.
So you want to go next time and then we'll start talking about theories?
Yes. So next time,
Next time.
we see the solar ray, Yomato, or Yomama.
Yeah, yo mama.
Yomama. It's already complete.
Yeah.
So, is there just going to be like a time skip or something?
Don't know, but Machu actually mentions, is it really a solar ray to help the environment, or is it a big laser cannon?
Probably a laser cannon. We also see an army of big Zams.
Yay!
And Cassilia and Girin are going to be at the kind of opening ceremonies,
Yeah.
I guess you can say. Which is very, very important because they didn't see each other for like years, like ever since the war ended.
Yeah, we're assuming it says 2 top level VIPs, so most likely it's going to be Girin and Cassilia who are there.
Yes. Now, of course, Nyan is going to be there. She's probably going to be like...
Security.
Yeah, security.
So is Xavier.
Yes. And we kind of finish with this shot of Shalia kind of, I don't know, I guess pinning.
Yeah, like
Machu
leaning
to
over
the,
her. Yeah.
it's kind of leaning over Machu, and I'm assuming he's asking for her to help him with stopping the zombies.
Yeah. So I think I kind of talked it over with you, but I think that Garen and Cecilia are gonna basically just try to assassinate each other through some kind of means. Since
Yes.
it's like their first time seeing each other in 5 years. From the last few episodes, we know that Garen has an army that he's created. I'm assuming they're probably gonna show up sometime, either this episode or the next. Since we already know that Nian and then of course Xavier are there to help protect Cecilia as well, so.
Yeah.
I think, just for my prediction, I think that Shalia will probably use that confusion as the, I guess, zombie civil war happens at that space station to probably try to get control of who's gonna actually get the super deadly weapon. I'm sure Garen wants it, even though Cecilia has it, so it'll probably just be who can take over it first. So I'm assuming that it's gonna be like just break out into an all-out war. I'm sure that probably Xavier and Nian might be fighting whoever the clone new types are. Maybe we'll see like Kuru or Glemmy or something over there.
Who knows?
But I think Shalia will take the opportunity to
Pesh.
no, it's not Pesh. I think Shalia will take the opportunity to use this as like, we're just gonna get rid of him. Let's just do it now. And considering that, it's definitely not an Earth rejuvenation project. They're probably gonna aim it at, God knows, I guess the Earth Force's remnants or whatever is on the Earth.
Could be Jabro.
Could be Jabro. It could just be a whole freaking plan to basically wipe out the whole surface area of the Earth, and then they just take over it.
Just take over it.
Yeah, we don't know how far this plan extends to, but I think that he's gonna recruit Machu to help and
stop it.
Yeah, stop what's ever gonna happen. Because obviously, as somebody who wants to swim in the Earth, I don't think she wants the whole Earth to be threatened by some giant space laser thing.
Yeah, so there's probably going to be a kind of a huge three-way conflict here at some point. Maybe even like a four-way conflict if the Earth Federation gets involved.
Yeah, we don't know what their forces even look like on Earth.
Yeah, we don't know. All we really saw is a group that kind of resembles the Titans.
But besides that, we don't know who's left over. We don't know if Revel's still around. We don't know. I guess Joaquin lived, so he could be on Earth.
Yeah, he could.
So he could try to do Joaquin's revenge. I don't know.
Joaquin's counterattack.
Yeah, Joaquin's counterattack. And then we kind of brought this up too because we know since that Yamantho is completed now, we know that possibly Char. We don't know. He was working on that. So do you want to say your theory? I think that you were thinking about.
All right, so the gentleman that we think is Char is said to be working on the Yo Mama project. I can't say it right, so that's what I'm going to call it. So he's working on that project. So what if he is just going to sabotage it? So like the minute that cannon is gonna fire, it just blows up and kills both Cecilia and Garen.
That would be amazing.
It'd be hilarious.
I brought up the plan that if he made a exhaust port that's small enough for somebody to go and shoot it.
That's exactly 2 meters in diameter, and you have to go along a trench in order to get to it.
That can happen as well.
Yes.
But also bringing up the man who is supposedly Char.
Yes.
Is he Gquuuuux Char? Is he OG Char, since we have OG Lala walking around? We don't know. That's if he even is Char.
Yeah.
I mean...
It's still up in the air. We don't have any confirmation at this point. this could age horribly.
Yeah, it could. I'm sure a lot of things have aged horribly, and I'm okay with
yeah.
that. But yeah, so wow. Any other things you want to say about the next episode or what might be coming before we kind of like
Just go off the deep end?
Yeah, go off the deep end.
Not really. So next episode is probably just going to be a setup for the battle. The battle might start at the very end of it.
Yeah, I have a feeling, this is my thing, is I think that the civil war between Garen and Cassilia is going to start maybe the midway, like the second half of that episode, because they're going to both want to assassinate each other.
Yes.
And then you're going to have Garen's army come and try to, wreck stuff so they can capture the big laser cannon in the sky.
Yes.
So I think Nian and Xavier and then Big Zams or whatever forces Cassilia has is going to have to deal with them. So I think at probably the end of the episode is when Shallya will probably confront Machu and be like, hey, we got to take care of this.
Yeah, we got to take care of this. All we need to do is kill both Cassilia and Garen.
And then we can have peace.
Yes.
So that's my I guess prediction for the next episode.
I wonder if we're going to get any more cameos too. So like, is Gato still around?
Yeah, he could be in the Garen camp.
Yeah, he could be.
We haven't seen like Haman, we haven't seen Gato, Rumba where are you, Rumba?
Yeah.
I think we were talking about that the other day where Rumba and like his crew just settled on Earth and they just like started up another bar or something.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah, they just get to like live their life and not have to worry about this anymore.
Because Rambaral was not a very big fan of the zombies, but he wanted a better, like a secure life for his men.
Yeah, yeah.
So
that's why they went to go avenge Garma, to basically get that cred, the credibility.
yeah, that's street cred.
Yeah, that's street cred. All right, so
I have my tinfoil hat.
All right.
Theory.
All right, tell me.
Okay, so let's get to the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
What if this all leads to us just kind of rewinding and going back to 0079 and stopping Char from stealing the Gundam?
Oh. So, do you think that it would happen where maybe this time Jean actually goes on the mission and it like plays out like the regular 0079?
Maybe.
Or just that Char doesn't even notice it and maybe Amuro gets into it. That'd be pretty freaking wild, actually.
That's going to be Amuro's appearance.
Amuro just ends up getting in the Gundam and then Char's still in Izaku, so,
Yeah.
That would be, that'd be pretty weird, man, but...
That would be really weird. But, well, it's kind of my tinfoil hat. Like, I realize this is crazy, but...
I mean...
We are getting to the point where the whole, like, people online who are like, oh, man, this is like a multiverse thing, where they're starting to sound sane now. Like, at first I was like, nah, this is just a normal alternate universe. I'm like, oh, God, it is.
Well, I thought about it, though, because the movie is actually called The Beginning.
Yeah, it is the beginning.
And so it starts off with all the 0079, one-year war stuff. So maybe it does. Maybe we just go back to that first scene where, Char infiltrates the side and then eventually captures the Gundam, but it doesn't happen this time. Yeah. I don't know.
Who knows? Maybe, like, this time, Char Zaku will need to be in maintenance. Who knows?
Oh, man. But, like, this multiverse thing, it just... Ugh. I mean, because you have, like, so many different interpretations, too, of kind of 0079 through, like, just, like, mini shorts and stuff that Gundam has done. So, like, the more kind of Victorian-looking era one where Char and Amuro are fighting each other. They just had that newer one, too, that was showing just in Japan, where it's kind of, like, more of a modern, like, look of, like, Char and Amuro. I can't remember what it was called, but, like, there has been...
multiple retellings.
Yeah, multiple retellings of just kind of Char and Amuro basically in their fight.
Yes, we have the original, we have Gundam the Origin.
That too, Gundam the Origin.
We have the the manga version of 0079, which is a completely different manga. I know it's hard to keep up with.
The novel version?
Yes, the novel version. We have the one that you were talking about, the Victorian one.
Yeah, they were
and
selling the model kits for it.
Yeah, I think it was for the 40th anniversary.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. And I did not see the other one that you were talking about.
It's like the more kind of hip hop looking one. I can't remember what it was called, but I know if somebody's brought it up on X too.
I don't think I've seen that one.
I think it was basically kind of like a commercial thing that they did in Japan.
And then, I don't know, I guess you could count the UC Engage one because that's different, like the
Yeah.
Char and Amuro mode. Like, it incorporates stuff from the origin, but also from other things as well.
And the regular
like
series.
It's like a really weird mishmash.
Yeah. They were just preparing us in UC Engage. They were like, multiverse.
Oh, man, that'd be crazy.
Oh my god, yeah. So, I'm definitely thinking that the multiverse is what's going on in this, and I think that's why Lala says, like, so many different things happen. Like, she keeps on seeing Char in, like, different ways, and then it, like, keeps on ending
keeps
things.
meeting him, and he keeps dying.
Yeah. And it's like, maybe we have, like we said, like, the OG just slightly different, where she didn't get killed by Amuro, but Char died in that situation, so
Yeah.
that could be another whole timeline itself.
All of the what-if scenarios in Gundam vs. Zeta are all canon.
Yeah. We haven't even seen, like, Garma. It's like,
Yeah, it
dang,
is
man.
weird. We haven't seen Garma. I was expecting to see Garma.
Maybe we'll see him next week.
Who knows? Maybe.
But yeah, there's just, like, there's so many, like, different ways that 0079 has been retold. At the core of it, it's Char and Amuro, so that's why I'm like, where is Amuro? I would assume, like, in this timeline, he just kind of became like a refugee with everybody else. We know Sayla made it off of the side, so why not him?
Yeah, maybe he just became like an engineer or something.
Yep.
Who knows?
Of course, we haven't seen his dad either anymore, so we don't know if Temray is doing anything. Moscom was, so, you know.
Yeah, Moscom, yeah.
Or Moscom, sorry, or whatever.
Oh, sorry, yeah, Moscon. Sorry, I'm thinking of Bascom.
Bascom.
I just, like, mashed the two together.
I guess, oh, thank God I wasn't saying that wrong.
Nah, that was totally my fault.
But yeah, it's like, I don't know, does, like, even, like, SD Gundam count? Because you have all those SD Gundam shows, too. That would be kind of trippy.
That would be really weird.
It's like Spider-Verse, but Gundam. Just specifically 0079. I mean, unless you count the other ones as alternate universes. Even though Char and Amuro don't exist in them. Oh, but yeah, there's a lot to unpack, man. First we get Cthulhu and Lovecraft, and now we get, like, multiverse and all this stuff. I still think Lala is some Cthulhu witch demon thing, because she is, as evident from my rant earlier. So
here's what I'm thinking. So if that guy last episode that we think is Char, if he is Char, I think he's going to be Gquuuuux Char.
You think he came back from the other side or whatever?
Yeah, I think that he just kind of got teleported. Just like with the Red Gundam, just like with the Rose of Sharon or Sharon or whatever.
Yeah, got teleported in the ocean somehow.
Yeah. So that would also lead me to believe that Shuji also kind of just got teleported somewhere.
Where to? We have no idea.
Could be anywhere.
But we know the Red Gundam is gone too, so I'm assuming it'll probably make an appearance again.
Yeah.
By the end of the series. But dang, man, there's just so much you can go into. There's just so many retellings of 0079 in the Universal Century. It's like, oh, could be any of these Chars. It could be any of these Amros. We don't know.
Yes. It's It's very strange. I don't know what to make of it yet.
I did look, so they pulled up a profile on the Rosa Sharon or the Elmeth. It says it's deeply connected to the Zeknova phenomenon.
Yes.
I think you had a theory about maybe how they used it and maybe the Gundam development.
Yes. So one thing I noticed when the Zeknova happens, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's always the red Gundam. It's never the Gquuuuuux.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking maybe for the Psycommu system for the red Gundam, maybe they used, like, I don't know if it's like just whatever scrap that they could get from the Elmeth, but maybe some of that technology or metal or whatever they could get was used in the Psycommu for the red Gundam, and that's why it's the red Gundam that's the most volatile when it comes to Zeknovas.
Yeah.
Like, we've only seen it come from that and the Elmeth.
And the fact that we always hear the Lala sound too.
Yes.
You have to wonder, it's like, is the Lala in the Elmeth the same one as the one in the Kira Kira? Because I feel like she probably isn't. I feel like she's another variant of Lala. I think the Lala that's stuck in the Kira Kira is the actual OG Lala who died when she saved Char.
But you don't know because she is in eternal sleep. That's what Shalia says.
Yeah.
So maybe, like, her soul has left her body.
Maybe.
And that's who we see in the Kira Kira. Or who people can feel on the other side in the Kira Kira.
Yeah, Shalia was saying at the end, like, I think this is the person that the Char was seeing on the other side that he was talking about.
Yes.
It's like, oh dang.
I'm just so confused because now, like, the people I thought were going crazy on, like, Facebook and Twitter and stuff, I'm just like, oh my gosh, maybe I judged you too harshly.
Man, had you seen anybody, like, actually think it was the Elmeth that was the rose? Because I didn't see anybody. Like, I saw a lot of people saying Lala too.
Yeah.
But I don't know if anybody actually predicted the Elmeth was going to show up.
I don't think I saw anyone predict the Elmeth. But I did see people say that Char is seeing to, like, the original series and all that kind of stuff. And I'm just thinking, wow, man. Like, how would you even guess that?
I have no idea. Where do you think Amuro is in all this? Do you think, like, there is separate Amuro, like, just hanging out with his dad or something in this universe, or?
Probably. I mean, I don't know. It kind of depends on the scope of the Federation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if the Federation is kind of low scale now, then I could see them just kind of hanging out on Earth. And who knows, maybe Amuro's become an engineer or something.
Maybe his mom isn't cheating on his dad. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe. Pretty sure that was in the novel, right?
Yeah, I think that one was in the novel.
Okay. Now, if the Federation is bigger than what we're seeing, then who knows? They could both be engineers for the Federation. In fact, it'd be crazy if Temray or Amuro ended up like helping create the Psycho Gundam early.
Yeah, they could have. I mean, especially with, like, Temray, he would have.
Like,
he created the Gundam,
yeah,
so he would have the know-how of at least kind of the basics of it.
yeah, he would have all the data that he would need
Mm-hmm.
in order to, one, possibly create another one, and two, make a better one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he seems like the kind of person who would want to do that too. So.
Yeah, and we're talking about like Temray without oxygen deprivation.
Well, yeah, because Char didn't blow the hole in the colony, so
Yeah,
that would make sense.
So he's not going to be crazy.
He's not going to be building junk. So this is what I was talking about. So there was like a short film, and at the Gundam base last year sometime. I think it was just the one at Fukuoka. So it was like kind of a modern kind of retake of the Universal Century with Amuro, Char, and I think you had Lala in there too. So that's kind of what brought it up. So I think people are saying that that one might be connected because it relies really heavily on like a green color palette, which is really heavily seen in Gquuuuuux. So I don't know, possibly.
I think I kind of remember this. Yeah, I think I kind of remember this promotional video. I think I kind of disregarded it as kind of like a weird artsy thing where it was all like green and purple.
Yeah, yeah.
But it does kind of match with that green Zek Nova.
So who knows? Like that could be another alternate version of 0079 there too, so
Who knows?
there's so many retellings. And there's just so many things that could go into multiverse with Gundam. You don't even think about it, but yeah, I even brought up the origin too, and that's a slightly different retelling.
Yeah.
Oh man, any more theories from you?
Oh. The man we saw was actually Johnny Raiden.
Johnny Raiden was actually in one of Lala's things, and she's like, yeah, he saved me once, but, I didn't like him very much, I don't know.
Yeah, I just kind of thought he was a poser.
No, Johnny Raiden was in the Cassilia camp, wasn't he? I'm thinking he was.
Pretty sure he was, yeah.
Yeah, so we haven't seen him either. I mean, if they...
Who knows, maybe he makes a cameo. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, we're in the...
red Jim Gelgoog.
We're in the last 3 episodes, so... I would imagine them just like throwing in like some random like cameos of like just Xeon people you see, like, not necessarily naming them, but like
yeah,
you just see them here and there. Like I am pretty damn sure we're gonna get like Puru or Glemmy from Giran because of the clones he's making, the new type clones.
And
so
who knows, maybe even Gato.
Mm-hmm. And like you said, Gato. Maybe Delaz. Delaz could be there.
Yeah, Delaz could be there. And then in the Cassilia camp, you could get probably another cameo with Makuve.
Mm-hmm.
Johnny Raiden.
Mash is a mayor right now, so he doesn't care.
Who knows? Like, what about the people who were more in Dozel's camp? Would they?
Yeah, we have like Shin Matsunaga. We haven't seen him. We haven't even seen Mineva or her mom.
Zena.
Zena, yeah. So we don't know if they ended up going to Granada with Cassilia or anything.
If Solomon fell, I would imagine that they would go to Granada.
Yeah, kind of like in the original series.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of people we have yet to see. Garma still. We haven't seen Dagwin and all. We don't know what he's doing or if he's dead.
Yeah, we could see the Karns.
Yeah. Haman and
her sister,
dad and
her dad.
Yeah. So there's a lot of people we don't know at all. I mean, and of course the Earth Forces side, we don't know anything about what's going on Earth, and I'm assuming that with a giant space cannon probably aimed at them, they're probably going to want to try to do something.
Probably.
So yeah, we don't know. Maybe Revel's still alive.
And maybe Revel, maybe...
Wakane could be there.
Wakane. We could get some pilots, who knows? Maybe we could get like the White Dingoes or something.
We can get more cyber new types like Rosamia.
Yeah. Maybe Ford Romfellow.
Yeah.
We could get Yu Kajima.
Because Yu was actually, he's in Char's Counterattack, isn't he, technically?
Technically, it's in supplemental material. But
So we know that he's still around, though.
yeah, I'm pretty sure he's in the Jagan that catches that Gyaradoga as it's kind of flying away.
I would really like to know, though, like, since Zeon is still on Earth, like, how is that divided territory-wise between Zeon and then the Earth forces? Because if they did chase him out of Odessa, I'm assuming that the European front is probably Earth forces.
Yeah.
Along with, like, Jabrow. We don't know anything about California.
Yes, California is kind of a big question.
You would think, because California base was one of the ones with cyber new types, am I right? No, it was Georgia. I think,
It was Japan.
yes, Japan for Murasame.
Yeah. And then
the one,
Augusta base, right?
yeah, so that's in Georgia. So
Yeah.
I would assume that maybe Zeon did get back. I'm sorry, not Zeon. The Earth Forces did get back most of maybe North America as well. So maybe Zeon is more centered towards like Asia, since we know that they're in India for sure.
Yes.
So maybe they're still on the Asian continent for all we know.
And who knows, maybe it's just that there's no war going on at the moment. So he's able to kind of just go back and forth. It could just be that.
Yeah, but we do have the Mad Angler and stuff there too, so there has to be some base.
There is Xeon presence there,
Yes.
definitely.
And then Shalia says that they're going to protect the base, so. Question, do they get the Rose of Chiron or the Elmet? Do they get it back to Cassilia? Or does it stay on Earth until... Because we don't know how much time has passed. I don't know if it's been like delivered again up to space by the time like this whole ceremony goes through, or is it still on Earth with Shalia and the crew, and then this whole fight's gonna break out.
It all depends on if there's a time skip. If there's no time skip, then the Rose of Sharon has to be used in battle at some point. Either as, I don't know, like a Zeknova bomb. Which, I mean, that's kind of what Cassilia wants. Or somehow Lala wakes up. That's kind of how I see it. Now, if there is a time skip, I could see, like the Zeknova bomb thing again. Or it's being studied at some kind of research facility again. And something happens there.
And it could just transport itself again.
Yeah, it could just disappear again. Who knows?
Who knows, man? And just a quick side note for everyone. So that advertisement from the Lala port in Fukuoka, Japan. So that's where the Gundam base is there with the new Gundam statue. That advertisement was called the Mobile Suit Gundam ALC Encounter, and I found it on YouTube. So I would say go watch it again if you want to, or if you haven't seen it, watch it. But it's like another Char and Amuro retelling that we were talking about, so.
You'll have to send me that.
Will do. Because Lala's in there too, in her OG form. It's just like...
Yep.
I'm telling you, man, she is like the witch who wants to bring everything down. At least for Char and Amuro, for sure. Oh, we haven't seen Sayla either.
Yeah, we
since her
haven't
encounter.
seen Sayla. She could show up in the final battle. Who knows?
Maybe she'll actually be more involved, which would be kind of nice.
It would be really nice. Sayla does not...
She doesn't get enough.
Yeah, she does not get enough story, honestly.
I think the original reason was because her voice actor had other things
Going
planned.
on.
Yeah, during Zeta. And then, of course, that voice actor unfortunately passed away, and then we got a new one. But it's just kind of sad how Sayla was never really included into the rest of Char and Amuro's story.
Yeah, like she's a very important character, but the way that she gets treated in the story, you wouldn't guess it.
Yeah, and we only get to see like that little glimpse of her in Zeta, listening to Char's speech. I mean, we got her in Double Zeta, I guess.
Your favorite.
Somehow she miraculously saves Jito's sister from
Lena.
Yeah. You know, even though she had a gunshot wound and she was in a fire, I guess. I don't know. How Sayla was there, we'll never know, I guess. Just a miracle, I guess.
Well, she probably just found her before the mobile suit fell onto that house.
Yeah. But the house was still on fire, though.
I don't know.
It was just a lot of circumstances for her to live. We'll just say that.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we don't get her at all in Char's counterattack.
Which is a shame.
Yeah, you would think that, like, even just an animation of her, even just watching, like, the whole, you know, miracle with the new type residents, maybe she'd show up to at least look at it, but nothing.
Yeah, like, you would think that Sayla would be a bigger part of Char's counterattack.
And it's just sad, man.
It is sad.
Sayla's a really important character in that first series, and even in, like, the origin, and then everything else, you know?
Yeah, especially in the origin, she, like, mounts her own rebellion in Abawaku.
Pretty badass. And then even when all the Xeon officers are like, come back, she's like, no,
Nah, I don't really want to, honestly.
I'm just chilling on Earth.
Yeah, I'm just chilling.
Oh man. Okay, so I think we probably talked enough about multiverses and stuff.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, if my crackpot just tinfoil hat theory is right, where it just like rewinds and goes back to the OG series, like the way it's supposed to be, then man, I will clip this and I will make it a short.
You know what? I will put money on it because the movie is called The Beginning.
Yeah.
So if we're gonna get back to the beginning, it would be right at that first scene where Char and Co infiltrate the side. So, yeah.
Who knows?
Who knows? It would be like a really weird, like, I mean, Gundam has done kind of the time travel thing too, with like Unicorn.
And Unicorn.
So it's not out of the realm of possibility that they just go back to that one spot and then basically everything changes.
Everything just changes back to what it's supposed to be.
So does Lala drive that to get back to the beginning? Because after Char gets the Gundam, that means he doesn't meet her.
Yes, probably.
See? Just a witch. Just a witch. I'm just saying, Gquuuuuux Char is living, like, a pretty decent life. Like, he's got people who's gonna back him. He's got Shalia who's gonna back him to take down the zombies. And they're gonna make a better world for new types. But no, Lala has to be selfish. And she wants to drag Char, and then of course Amuro. If Char doesn't get the Gundam, most likely Amuro is gonna get that Gundam. So if that brings Amuro into story, she's gonna get both of them again. And it's just like this never-ending cycle of her dragging two people down to death so that she can always be with them. I'm just saying, the main villain of Gquuuuuux is gonna be Lala. Don't feel sorry for her that she is in her situation that she's in right now, because even though she hasn't met Char or Amuro in this timeline, she's still like, I love them both. It's like, girl, decide. I can't help it, Josh. I'm sorry, but like, she's like literally dragging down two people who could have made the Universal Century a lot of a better place for new types and other people.
Yeah.
They could have made it, you know, a stable environment for everyone, but no. Lala has to screw things up.
I agree with you that she probably screws everything up.
You're gonna say a but, aren't you?
Yes.
Oh god.
So, but the but is that no one should ever be in a brothel.
No, I don't. I don't think her or any of the girls should be there. At the same time, I don't feel sorry.
Okay. I don't know. I just would not wish that on anyone.
No, I don't necessarily wish it on her, but she meets Char. She could have left with Machu, Josh. She could have gone away from that life.
Yeah, she could have.
But she didn't. She could have changed whatever fate or whatever she wanted to. But no. So, I think that if anybody besides Char had tried to do the same thing, she would say no. She would keep herself in that situation, which, like you said, I don't like that she's in that situation, but she's keeping herself there.
Yeah, that's a very valid point.
Especially after the maid set up everything. Freaking maid was like ready to just burn all this thing down. Get all the women she could out there, you know, to get to freedom, and Lala didn't do it, so.
Yeah.
So in that sense, yeah, I don't want her to be in a brothel, no. But she chose it. At that moment she chose it. She could have gone with Machu for sure. She could have gotten out of that life, but no, she wants to meet Char. She wants to continue the cycle, and that's how I'm going to justify this.
Even though, honestly, she would have a better chance of finding Char out there.
Yeah. You know, I didn't think about this either, but if she did go with Machu, do you think like some weird something would happen if she came close to the Elmeth? Like some like...
That's a very good question. Like some kind of like paradox or
Yeah,
something?
paradox, anomaly, I don't know, black hole. You were saying too that you thought that she was having those dreams because she was in close proximity to...
Yeah, it's not that far away from where the rose is, actually. At least editing-wise, it doesn't seem that far away.
Yeah, I would assume probably not too far, but
Yeah.
who knows. So, yeah, I'll leave it at that. I still don't like Lala. Not advocating for people to be put in brothels. I didn't want her to be in that situation either, but she kind of chose to stay in that situation, so I can't really help it. Alright, anything else you want to say?
I don't think so.
My god, man, you're making me look like the bad guy.
Sorry, I didn't mean for it to be like that. It's, I don't know. Like, that setting was just very weird and uncomfortable.
Yeah, no, it is.
So, like, even with the pictures, I am kind of excluding scenes from that location in the review.
Yeah, there's just like a lot of women in their undergarments, we'll just say that.
Yeah.
Waiting for their lovers. In
So,
quotation.
Yeah, it's...
They don't say outright that it is the brothel, but we know from the lore.
We know from the lore, and, like, it's pretty obvious.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious.
Like, they don't say it, but it's very obvious.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but any other thoughts you want to put in so we close this out? It's kind of funny that this one, I think this review's gone on longer than the rest of them.
Yeah, this review has gone on longer than all the others.
And it's so funny because, like, not much kind of moved in this episode, but at the same time, then you have so many more questions pop up.
Yeah, it's...
Oh, any last thoughts, Josh?
Not really. I do apologize for making it seem like you were advocating for that.
Oh,
I I know that you were not.
I know. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
I was kind of more joking with you.
Okay.
But you know how I feel about Lola, so.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying that because it's the internet, Amy. People are gonna take it out of context.
Oh, I know. You know what? And if I end up offending somebody, it's okay. You know, if you guys have anything to write in the comments, you are more than welcome to say anything, so.
Yep. We will welcome the engagement.
You can defend Lala all you want in those comments. I'll write replies. So, yeah.
Yep.
But, yeah, I think overall score, Josh, of the episode, what do you think?
I thought it was a pretty good episode. No action, but there doesn't need to be any action.
No, it's one of those building ones again.
Yeah. The issue with grading a kind of like an episode that is kind of building up is that you don't know what it's building up to. So right now it's probably a 7 or an 8. Depending on what it builds up to, it could be higher or lower.
I think my only thing I'd like to see more in this episode is just more of Machu either kind of realizing the situation she's in, and or just kind of like getting used to the earth, because she wanted so much to come down the earth, so
Yeah.
it kind of does get lost in the episode a little bit with all the lore dump.
Yeah, either that or her kind of realizing maybe she was too hasty.
Yeah, and I think we'll see more of that probably, and we know she's going to confront Nean most likely, because they're going to be guarding that giant ass space laser too, so I think she'll get more of it, but you know, I'd like to see more from Machu in terms of like she's finally on Earth, and we do get a little bit of like those glimpses on there, but it does get pretty
Lost.
Yeah, it's pretty lost.
It gets lost for sure.
So, but that's my only thing about this episode. Like you said, it's probably like a 7 or an 8 right now, and we'll see what it builds up to. I'm definitely looking forward to next week. A little nervous, like you said, about how they're going to end things, because there's only 3 episodes left.
Yeah.
So,
There's going to have to be a really quick wrap up.
yeah, there is. Because if we're going to have a big battle, civil war, I'm assuming it's going to start next week briefly, and then probably continue into the next one after that for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be kind of like the final battle in Zeta. I'm pretty sure that was like 2 or 3 episodes long.
But really just wrap up too, like, because you're gonna have, you know, what's gonna happen to Machu, what's gonna happen to Yan. We don't know if Shuji's gonna just randomly show up again, so there's a lot of loose ends to tie up in 3 episodes.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to it, so we'll see what they do.
Yeah, we'll see what they do.
All right, well, anything else you want to say about this episode?
I don't think so. I think I've said all I need to say.
You have your tinfoil hat on for next week.
Yes. I have my tinfoil hat on for, honestly, the rest of the episodes. The rest of this month, honestly.
Yeah, basically, we have, like, this is, like, the last month of Gquuuuuux, so...
Yeah.
3 more weeks. Oh, man. I don't know, it's been a ride. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. Hopefully you enjoyed our really long dive into multiverse and or my rant on Lala, I guess. I don't know. Like I said, if you have...
Or rants on, like, Lovecraft.
Yeah. If you guys have comments or anything, you know, we want to read them, and we'll try to reply back to them, so... Yeah. I think that's it, though.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Cool. Well, thanks, guys, for staying with us, because this has been a long one.
Yeah, this has been a long one.
But...
Oh, sorry.
Oh, go for it.
Oh, I was just going to say, we have another episode of Gundam Seed Battle Destiny coming up on Friday. I'm going to do another episode of Seed Recollection at some point. We'll see. It's kind of a long week for me.
Yep. I don't think that's everything else that's coming up though right now, right?
I'm still building the Burning Gundam.
I'm still building the Char SD kit thing. So, I've worked on the Zaku a little bit, so I need to get that footage up pretty soon. But, yeah, with those SD kits, those ones, I think that one has 5 in it. It's just like, Then I gotta make sure they're painted and all that fun stuff, so.
Yes.
So I think that's it.
Yep, that is it.
Alright guys, well, like I said, thank you for listening to our rant. We'll see you for the last 3 episodes of Gquuuuuux. And of course more to come. Maybe after Gquuuuuux is done, we'll, do like OG Gundam or something and do like reviews of each episode or something like that. Depending on what's coming up, so.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. Well, like, share, and subscribe. Hit the like button like Soletta hits that dude into tomato paste. And Josh, you good? Ready to sign off?
Yep. This has been Josh.
This is Amy.
For Gundam of Gundams. See y'all later.
Bye-bye.